Hi guys, today I'll be doing a book review from The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. How my reviewing system works is that they get a star system. Instead of 3 out of 5 stars or 1 out of 5 stars, I do a rating system based off 10 stars. And that's how my reviewing system works for stars. And then I'll be going over the characters, the plot summary, and what I liked about this book and what I didn't particularly like about this book. As for the rating for this book, I gave this book a 9 out of 10 stars. I would definitely recommend it to some of my friends who aren't really into reading, because I've been in a reading slump for God knows how long. I think it's been 2 years since I've read a book straight through, and this one I couldn't put it down. I remember walking to work with this book and risking getting ran over so many times so I could finish this book, and I finally did, and I loved it. I love the characters, I love the world. What The Darkest Mind is about is we follow our main protagonist, Ruby, who has been in this rehabilitation camp for about 6 years. And I say rehabilitation camp lightly because they torture them, they're afraid of them and other stuff. And how to explain this book? Well, we start off, Ruby is barely 10 years old. She wakes up on her 10th birthday and gets tossed into this camp for people like her. What happened was that there was a virus going around North America, and the kids who didn't die inherited supernatural powers. Now, how the powers work in this is that they're color-coded. Green is for super intelligence, blue is for telekinesis, yellow is for electricity. They could do electricity and whatnot. Red is for fire, and orange is mind controlling. And Ruby is orange. She could control minds, but she gets off. She gets off. Sorry. But she spends 6 years of her life passing off as a green, which is the least threatening of all the colors. And the plot really starts, I guess, whenever they do a test or experiment, and they're this close to finding out that she's not a green like she says, so she has to escape, which she does, which I don't really think is a plot spoiler that much because you could read it on the back of the book in the summary. So, yeah, that part. So, if you want to not be spoiled for this book, I would leave my video right now, since I am going to go into depth about what I like about this book and what I don't like about this book. So there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read The Darkest Minds yet, I leave now. So bye, people who haven't read The Darkest Minds. I'll give you about 2 seconds before I start up on what I liked and didn't like. Okay, bye. Okay. Now that we got past the non-spoiler section of The Darkest Minds, I would like to go into the spoiler section, which is talking about the characters. I'm going to start off with the 4 main characters, and then work my way through to... Well, actually, I think I should start off by less important characters, because I think the main characters are what we really want to talk about, right? Okay, so the first not main character I have, which is a supporting character, is Martin. He's another orange like Ruby is. We meet him whenever Kate, who I'm going to talk about later, breaks him and Ruby out of the institution. I personally thought Martin was kind of creepy. I liked the end of the book when Ruby's all like controlling his mind, showing Kate what she could do now, and saying, "You should probably leave," and he does, because I find Martin to be a really annoying character, and I hope we don't see him in Never Fade. But if I do, I guess I'll just get through it. And he's really creepy. But I liked the fact that they showed Martin in the beginning to find out how creepy oranges could be, how psychotic they could become, because they can control people's minds, and when you have that kind of power, it kind of gets to your head, you know. So maybe I'll look forward to seeing more oranges. I know we didn't see a lot of reds in this book, if any. We saw any reds, because I don't think we saw any of them, which I'm looking forward to if I read Never Fade, which I'll get into at the ending of the video, because I do have a dilemma about this series. Okay, next was Sam. Sam was Ruby's best friend in the rehabilitation camp. I loved her snarkiness at the beginning. I loved what she told the warden whenever he was yelling at Ruby about his shoes and stuff. And then she's all like, oh, maybe if you could get your head stuck out of your ass. I'm all like, oh, she's gonna get in trouble. And she does. And then we don't see her getting tortured, but we know she's got sent off to get tortured because she spoke out of term. And then when she comes back, she really she doesn't hate Ruby, but she's all like, can't you stand up for yourself for once? I've been doing it for 6 whole years for you, and you can't even stand up for me for once. And I feel Ruby's pain, because I knew she wanted to. She wanted to go to Sam, and she wanted to help Sam, but she couldn't, because Ruby starts off as this character who's very intimidated by where she's at. She's not strong-willed that much at the beginning. And I'll talk about Ruby when we get to the 4 main ones, but right now it's Sam. I really didn't like whenever Ruby erased her memories from Sam. I know she didn't mean to, it's a part of the book, but I hate it whenever they weren't friends, because Sam spent so long protecting Ruby. I mean, that really teared me up a little bit. And whenever Ruby got hurt and Sam was concerned about her, I'm all like, why can't you remember your friendship? And I hope we see Sam in Never Fade. I think I read somewhere that we see her in the afterlife, but you know, I really want more of Sam. I love Sam. Okay, next one I have here is Lady Jane. Which is the one who was chasing Liam and Chubbs and Zoo. And I'm over here going like, we only see her for about maybe like 5 seconds in the book when Ruby is controlling her mind and telling her to basically fuck off. And I loved that part. I was thinking that Lady Jane would be the main antagonist, but she wasn't. I'll get to the main antagonist soon, because I see his name on here, and I'm just all like, well, fuck you, you bitch whore. And I liked how she, you know, mind-controlled Lady Jane. I loved when she picked Lady Jane up by her throat and slammed her. I'm like, damn, Ruby, I didn't know you could be that violent, but she was, and she basically said, you're not gonna take them anywhere, you're gonna go into the forest, and you're gonna forget that you ever saw us. I liked how she had conflicting feelings about whether or not to kill her or not. I think that shows that Ruby, even though she does have this orange power, and it does make people crazy, she controls it. So, yeah, Lady Jane was probably one of my favorite parts, but it was just because of Ruby. Okay, I know I have one of these characters right here, but I want to talk about Kate because I feel like she's a little less important. I actually like Kate. Oh yeah, I forgot to put Rob down here because Rob was a character. I didn't like Rob. I knew that there was something up with him from when we saw him, and Rob is Kate's love interest, whatever. But we see from Ruby's eyes that he's not really a good person. He takes kids out and he shoots them in the back of the head and whatnot. And I'm all like, ugh, I don't want Rob there. Rob could die and I wouldn't care. And that's my feelings on Rob. But Kate, I feel like Kate really was trying to help them and stuff. And of course, she had to run away because you can't not trust Rob and trust Kate. I think I I know where Ruby was going, and I can't English today, I'm sorry. I know where Ruby was going with that, and, you know, with Kate, I did feel like she was a very nice character at first, and then at the ending, she was a little not nice, but after you spend so long, 6 weeks trying to find a person, I get Kate's frustration. So yeah, I actually liked Kate. I thought she was nice and sweet, and the ending of it, she was like, don't you even dare think about leaving again or I'll shoot Liam. And I'm like, bitch. But I knew why she was doing it. I get it. She wants this to stop and other stuff. So Kate, one of my favorite adults in the book. And that was about Kate. Now we're getting into the more important characters, the 5 main characters, even though Clancy isn't one of them. Well, Clancy is the main antagonist in this book. Not sure about Never Fade or Into the Afterlight. But Clancy, oh my god. I hated Clancy. At first, whenever we're first introduced to him, I'm all like, no, don't trust him. There's something off about him. Even with the scenes with Ruby and Clancy where he's being extra nice, I thought, you know, something is off about Clancy. What is off about Clancy? And then we see him starting to get more crazy, even though he hides his crazy. Crazy because he's very charismatic. The slip kids love him and whatnot. And I'm over here going like, something's wrong with Clancy. I know there's something wrong with Clancy because we're like 100 and something pages away from reading this book. There's no real antagonist yet. I know there's the people chasing him and Kate, but they already took care of them, so who's gonna be the main antagonist? And then I think about it and I'm going like, Clancy doesn't seem right to me. I'm gonna go with him. And I knew before we even were introduced to Slip Kid that Clancy was gonna be the Slip Kid. It's just something in my mind. You can't have him be such an important part of the story and not have him in it. So I was happy that I got that right. And then, I don't know, this scene really frustrated me. I really hated Clancy whenever he made Ruby paralyzed and started kissing her. Did he rape her? I don't know if he raped her. I think it was implied that he did, but I wasn't for sure. So if you know if he did or not, like, you know for sure, can you comment that down below? Because I was confused about that part. I don't know if he did or didn't. I don't know if it was a dream or if it wasn't a dream. You know, Clancy is a really psychotic person, so yeah. And then, the second thing I hated about Clancy was whenever he said to Liam something about Ruby, and I think it was about raping her or whatnot, and Liam just goes in to punch Clancy, and then he paralyzes Liam, and I'm all like, Clancy, you whore, that is cheating. Okay. And then he doesn't even beat him up himself, he gets some other guy to beat up Liam, because I guess he's too much of a pussy to do it himself, right? But, you know, and then Clancy, I knew Clancy was gonna be the bad guy. I hated when Ruby's all like, oh, I can control him. No, bitch, you can't control Clancy, okay? He's the one who taught you everything you know, okay? So when she goes to the storage unit to help Clancy, and he isn't even bleeding, and he threatens this one girl who came to get her, I'm all like, I knew it. I knew Clancy was gonna be the bad guy. You know, I knew it. Why the fuck would you do that, Ruby? And with Clancy, oh god, I just want him to die. I want him to get shot in the back of the head with one of the guns that was going around the camps. I loved it when Chubbs just used his telepathic powers to, like, shove Clancy into the shelf of cans and get him off Ruby, because he was either planning on raping her or killing her, and I'm all like, oh, please, not again. Clancy can't win this, and I knew that this plan was his and not his dad's, even though I'm not saying his dad's not evil. I mean, you're not born evil. Clancy wasn't born evil, so where does he get it from? I think in Never Fade, they'll kind of explain more. Into the Afterlight, they'll explain more. But for now, I don't get why Clancy is evil. I get that he was the first test subject that they ever tested on, and that kind of screws with a person's head. You know, why are they doing this to me? Why? So I guess I kind of get it, but at the same time, why Clancy? Why do you have to be such a whore? Okay, so enough about Clancy, because I'm starting to get mad again. I really hate Clancy. Really hate him. Ooh, and now we're getting to the top 4. Zoo. How much could I explain that I love Zoo? Even though she doesn't talk in the book, she's one of those characters that she doesn't need to talk for you to feel something. Feel something about her. I loved how Alexandra Bracken wrote Zoo so well. And Zoo, I actually teared up when she left. I'm all like, no, not Zoo. Please tell me she's in Never Fade or Into the Afterlight, because that can't be the end of Zoo's story. I want to know how she's faring along, you know? I don't want Zoo not to be included in the next 2 stories. And when she left and the goodbye between her and Chubbs, at first I'm like, Chubbs, what the fuck? Why would you say that to a 12-year-old girl who's just trying to make her life better? And then she doesn't really care what Chubbs said, she hugs him, and I felt that Zoo's goodbye was one of the scenes that really made me tear up, and it's what pushed the ranking up on this book from 8 to 10 to a 9 to 10, because I love Zoo. She's one of my favorite characters, and I hope we see her again. But if we don't, you know, at least it was a satisfying conclusion to her story. Okay, Chubbs. What can I say about Chubbs? I didn't particularly like Chubbs at first, but then I really got to know him as this really brutally honest person, and oh my god, whenever he calls out Clancy, did anyone else besides me love that scene? I loved it whenever he called out Clancy, because I think Clancy sucks. I love it whenever he's all like, how is your society any different from what we went through in camps? All you want is just kids to control you. And then he really starts to get into these people's minds, and I guess that Clancy has to mind control them, because how else do you explain them beating up Liam and stuff? But I really hated Clancy, but I loved Chubbs. It took a while for Chubbs to grow on me. I didn't particularly like his snarkiness at first, but then you just grow to love Chubbs, and you grow to love his honesty. He's not, like, making everything sound better. He's not the optimistic type. He's the realist type, and I really do enjoy a good realist type on the story. I really loved how he was the first one to point out, what is wrong with you people? Can't you tell that this is just like camp? They tell us when to go to bed, they tell us when to eat, they tell us what to do. This isn't anything like we imagined. This isn't being free. This is just a more calm setting than what we were in. It's just like the camps, but we're not seeing that, and he's controlling all of us and whatnot. And I like how Chubbs was the first one to call that out, you know. So yeah, Chubbs, very good character. I like Chubbs. I was sad when he got shot. I really hope that he survives. I heard he's in the next 2 books, so of course he survives. But that was a scene that it's like, oh, he just wants to deliver Jack's letter, which is basically him telling his father, well, you're the one who made me this fucking monster. Okay, and then Jack's dad gets so mad, and he shoots Chubbs, even though he's just, you know, giving him this letter. And I felt myself bawling like a baby. It's like I felt like my emotions were in overload at the end of this book, and I'm all like sitting over here about to bawl. I remember my boyfriend asking me if I'm okay. I'm like, I can't English, I can't word. I can't tell him what's going on because, oh my god, I was so emotional about that. So Chubbs, hope he's alright. Liam! Can we talk about how sweet Liam is? I'm definitely team Liam when it comes to him going after Ruby, you know? I liked Liam. He was a very sweet character. He's very optimistic. He was a very light character in the set of all his heaviness, but he also had his emotions. He also had his dark parts because he held himself responsible because he was responsible for everyone breaking out of his camp because he's the one who orchestrated the plan. And I liked how he was a person who was still optimistic even though he had this guilt weighing down on him about how many kids died at his camp and stuff. And I really hated how Clancy brought that out to Ruby. He's all like, well, why would you love Liam? He's responsible for 300 and something kids dying. And I'm all like, well, he didn't really tell the people to go with him. But I felt it sad. I loved Liam. I hated when he got beat up because I felt that was unfair. And Clancy, like I said, is a bit fucking whore. I hate Clancy. Oh, I hope he dies sometime in this book. Really do. But Liam, I loved Liam, and the ending of Liam when Ruby erases his memories, I'm all like, how could you do that, Ruby? How? I get it, but at the same time, I'm all like, oh, that was so sad. And I'll get into what was so sad here in a little bit because it's a part of things I like versus what I didn't like about the book. So that. Ruby, at first, I found her to be a little I found her to be relatable. I felt what she was going through. I hate the fact that her parents can't remember her because of what she did to them. I felt really bad for Ruby, you know? Really bad. And I felt like she really did have a lot of character development. At first, she wasn't, you know, she was just going along with emotions, going along with what everyone told her. And at the end of this book, she really grew into herself. And I really hate to admit, but Clancy helped her, and Liam helped her, and everyone helped her, you know? And I find her to be quite an awesome protagonist. She's not the most frustrating one I've read, but Ruby, yes. Can we talk about how awesome Ruby is for a minute? I loved how she found a way to help with her orange powers, not the way Clancy told her, but she found things that she wanted to keep to herself, and she basically shut Clancy out of her memories, and I liked that part. I don't know how her powers are going to progress over the next few books, but I can't wait to see. Okay, since I'm at the 22-minute mark, I'm gonna kind of hurry things along. I'm sorry this video is a little longer, on the longer side. Things I liked about this book versus things I didn't like about this book. I'm gonna start off the things I didn't like about this book at first. I didn't like, Clancy. Clancy is just a big no. I didn't really like how they made this big old fuss about this Lady Jane character, only to have her in the book for, 5 minutes? I didn't like that part. I sure as hell don't like Rob. I don't trust him as far as, throw him. I didn't like Martin. I didn't like the fact that Sam and her parents didn't remember. It was sad for me. I didn't like it, but I get why they had to include it, because books can't be happy all the time, and I find it a very heavy book, and I found out that the next 2 books are going to be really, really heavy, and this book is the lightest book, and I'm all like, if this is the lightest book, how much am I going to cry of the next books? Oh my god. Okay, next is the parts I did like about this book. I had a few scenes that I just adored. I loved whenever Ruby first met them. That was funny as hell. How she pops up in the back seat, and then Liam just almost kills them. Because he just doesn't notice that she's there. He's talking to Zoo, and he's talking to Chubbs, and then he sees Ruby in his mirror, and he goes, meh, and then he almost kills all of them, and then I think he screams. There's a part where he screams, and they all scream, and I'm all like, okay, that was funny. So I particularly enjoyed that scene. I liked how they didn't abandon her even when they found out she was an orange. I liked the scene wherever she has Lady Jane by the throat and she's using her orange powers to do so. I also liked the scene in Walmart with her and Zoo and that girly moment that they had. The clothes. And then how Ruby is all shy about a real brawl because she's never seen one before. They have training brawls and sports brawls in the camp. So I'm just over here going like, that scene was funny. I loved the pink gloves for Zoo. I thought that was nice. I thought the whole Walmart scene was actually nice. I liked her and Zoo's bonding moment. And, I liked that. I thought that was a very, light and fluffy part of the book, wherever there was so much heaviness in this book. So I liked that scene. I liked the scene wherever Chubbs and her have this secret place that they go to avoid the camp. That was nice. I know Chubbs isn't her love interest by any means, but I really like their friendship. I really like Chubbs and Ruby's friendship because Chubbs never lies to Ruby. He won't do that. He even claims that he won't lie to her ever. So I liked their friendship, and I liked their little get-togethers at the lake. I liked how Chubbs was the first one to notice that things were amiss at this camp. So I liked that. And okay, so I liked that part, and other parts of this book I liked. I like the ending with her and Liam in the hotel scene. That scene was really sad. I liked Liam's vision about how life would have been like if they were born in a normal society. I liked that Ruby was a part of an ice cream parlor. I liked the fact that he was working a mechanic about to go to college, where his roommate would be the annoying Chubbs, and I liked that. And I liked the fact that she was going to visit her grandma in West Virginia. They met at the beach. They fell in love with each other through long-distance relationship. I liked the fact that Zoo was even included, because I'm all like, how are they going to include Zoo? And then Ruby's all like, and then I would be telling you stories about how I had tutored this girl named Zoo, and she'd be the most awesome kid ever. And I really liked that how in their very little society, their little group, they found a way to mesh them together with the real world. That was really adorable. I loved it. And then Ruby, being Ruby, decides to erase Liam's memory, and this is the part where I started bawling. I liked whenever he's all like, do you want to know how the story ends? And she's all like, no, I want to tell this part. And then she kisses him and erases herself piece by piece from his memory. And I'm just over here going like, bawling like a baby. Going like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe it. And, scene was so emotional. I can't believe it happened. I was all like, oh my god, Ruby, why'd you do it? I get why she did it. She wanted Kate to let Liam go, and she couldn't let Liam go without erasing his memories of her and what happened and everything. So that part, I felt it was a nice conclusion to the story. I know most people are frustrated by it, but I thought it really was unavoidable to do that. So I liked that part. I liked the ending. I'm gonna read it from the ending. One moment. I actually have to get back to page 288, right? 488, sorry, this book isn't that short. I like this part. For the first time in months, I heard Sam's voice whisper in my ear, don't be scared, don't let them see. I turned from the window and I didn't look back. And that was whenever Liam was just walking into the distance. I loved the whole, hey, be careful, and he said, you too, darling. Like, still a Southern gentleman, even though he doesn't know Ruby. And then he walks off, and Ruby is watching him, and I loved how Sam's voice came in her mind, and she turned away and didn't look back. Now, my dilemma with this story, I don't know if I want to continue it. I really did enjoy this book. I loved it. Sure, I want to know what's going on, but at the same time, I thought this could have worked as a standalone. That would have been a very good ending to end it on. I know there's still more. I know there's more characters to fall in love with, and I know there's more story and plot. And I know these books aren't boring because I heard people raving about them. Like, it only gets better from here. It doesn't get worse. And, that, for me, I like that in a book series, because Vampire Academy is one of my favorite book series. I was never bored in it. And in this book, I have the same aspects as Vampire Academy, not in the way of storyline, but of the way of I couldn't put it down. I didn't want to. I've been looking for a story besides Bloodlines or Show Me novels to keep me entranced in the story, and this one was one of them. So please tell me down below in the comments if I should finish this story, because I know there's a lot of people telling me that I should. It's just that I have like about 33 more books to read before I can read Never Fade, and maybe then I'll, be in the mood to read more. This ending will be fresh out of my mind, but for right now, I like it as a standalone. I might pick it up and continue it. Please let me know down below if I should, if it's more epic and awesome than this book, because I know for a fact there's more heavy subject matter in the next two books, and I like light and fluffy books with a side of seriousness. I heard the third book is really heavy. There's not really much comic relief in it. So let me know down below if Never Fade and Into the Afterlight were really good books and I should read them, because who knows, maybe by the end of this whole book challenge thing that I got going for myself, I'll read Never Fade and Into the Afterlight. But for now, I'm satisfied with this as a standalone. Thank you for listening, guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you when I see you next. Okay. And actually, I forgot to mention the next book I'm reading. It'll pop up into a lot of my book reviews. This one is a really short book, so I might get into another book review soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Depends on how busy I am, because I haven't picked this book up once today. And that is Radiance by Alison Noel is my next book. The next book I'm reading. And I'll be posting that book review soon, I hope. I hope to finish it right now. I'm on page 16, and this book is really short. All it has is about 178 pages, and look at the writing style. That probably won't take me long at all. So next book I'm reviewing is Radiance by Alison Noel. So I'll let you know how I feel about that book in my next book review. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for listening. Love you guys, and I'll have more reviews posting on this channel. I'll have other stuff posted on this channel. If you have tag ideas or book ideas I should read, any book suggestions, comment down below. Don't be shy letting me know what books you're into, because I'm trying this thing where I'm expanding my books, my horizons for books. So thanks for listening, and I hope you guys enjoy your day. Alright.